Startup NY has a plan to attract jobs to New York State. But it's not Ben Losky's plan. Ben Losky and his controversial bit license wants to chase jobs away. If the bit license becomes law as drafted, we may be forced to block all New York residents. New York's proposed bit license is the wrong form of regulation and poses a threat to consumers. New York is putting the cart before the horse. Ben Losky and his bit license. It's bad for jobs. It's bad for business. It's bad for New York. Paid for by generous donations for the Committee Against Ben Losky and Bit License. Donate now. An unknown party sold more than 30,000 bitcoins at the low price of $300, causing the entire market to move vertically for 6 consecutive hours on Monday night. Before this epic sale, the price of Bitcoin had fallen to a recent low of $275. Since the bear whale, the market has recovered about 25% to around $375 a coin. Have we seen the low? Is Bitcoin about to bounce back? Andreas Antonopoulos.
Yeah, it looks like it's bouncing back already, but that doesn't mean the cycles are over or that volatility is done. This is a roller coaster. Hold on to your hats. We've got a $5 billion currency trying to swallow a world economy and bring on board 7.5 billion people. It's a long way until we reach stability. So there are going to be more ups and downs, and they're going to be sudden, they're going to be disruptive, they're going to be scary. And so if you thought that Bitcoin was a suitable investment to put your family's retirement plan in and day trade, then right now you're probably having a bad day or a bad month or most likely a bad year. Bitcoin is a fantastic medium of exchange. It's a fantastic long-term store of value, and it is a craptacular get-rich-quick scheme, so don't use it for that.
Blake Anderson.
I'm still smiling over the craptacular adjective. That was fantastic. Yeah, the Bitcoin, the bear whale. I like the bear whale meme that has come up on the internet with the giant whale with the bear head. It looks very scary and very vicious. But yeah, it seems like the market chopped it up and ate the that big wall of Bitcoins, which was really good to see. I think that, yeah, there's a lot of different factors that come into, is the price of Bitcoin going to go up? Is it going to go down? And I think that it's more important to discuss the factors that have an impact on this than to just try to throw darts and discuss numbers. For right now, the hash rate has not been easing up as the price has eased up. So some people kind of describe this as turned upside down a little bit. So if you have lots of miners that are liquidating the Bitcoins that they mine in order to pay power and stuff like that, then you're going to have, you know, worst case scenario, about 3,500 Bitcoins hitting the markets every day. And so some people are speculating that unless there's, you know, a Western exchange open or some kind of a big event, that we might see, you know, volatility and a little bit lower price point to the block having in 2016. But, you know, hopefully it won't take that long. But everybody should invest wisely and appropriately and avoid doing the things that Andreas told us we shouldn't do.
Is the difficulty still scheduled to go down?
I think it went down about one. I think it went up 1%, so it didn't quite go down. I think it was one of the smallest difficulty increases in recent times.
All right. Marshall Hayner.
Yeah, so I think it's interesting. I mean, you see this order hit the market, and how long did it stay there before the market snapped it up? It seemed like maybe like 4 hours or something like that. It wasn't very long. So you don't really know who's on the other side. People that want to buy, the people that want to buy 15 million, $30 million worth of Bitcoin, they're not necessarily buying on the open market. So this was definitely unusual. A lot of those orders happen OTC or over-the-counter style trades. I think it's good. It shows how strong Bitcoin is. Even if the price goes down to $1, as many people have pointed out, it doesn't eliminate the utility of Bitcoin and the usefulness. So I think it's interesting. It's obviously a holder that got a weak hand, and I don't blame him. He got his millions and he got out.
As shocking as it was to see the 30,000 Bitcoins for sale, it was even more shocking to see the market buy them all. Megan Lords.
I don't know if this is the low or not. I think there's going to continue to be a lot of volatility, and that's something that's going to bring a lot of attention to Bitcoin, which I think is generally good, even if it's bad press. I used to be very much against the idea of, these kind of journalists, they're completely ignorant, they're attacking Bitcoin for no reason. But I've kind of recently changed my mind on that, and I think people are very fixated on the price when there are a lot of other things they could be focusing on that Bitcoin is useful for. So everyone's focused kind of on the currency aspect of it, but I think this is a good time for people to be less focused on the price and maybe more focused on some of the other possibilities out there too. So I don't know if we've seen the bottom of this or not. I'm not great at predicting the future for investments, and I continue to say what I've always said to people, and that's don't put more than you can afford to lose into Bitcoin if you're thinking of it as an investment. There are a lot of these kind of horror stories on Reddit and other parts of the internet that, you kind of see people blaming the Bitcoin community for, or even, other things too. And, it's important to remember that, yeah, this is not something that you really want to do a whole lot of trading with. It's not very stable, and it's going to continue to move up and down for a while. So I can't say if we've seen the bottom yet.
Exit question. Speculate as to why the bear whale would do such a thing. Why would someone sell so many coins at one time at such a low price? Andreas Antonopoulos.
Well, there's a lot of speculation. One of the things to remember is that U.S. taxes are due October 15th. So like many other people in the community, I am selling Bitcoin at the moment in order to pay my U.S. dollar taxes, because I did search on the IRS webpage for the Pay with Bitcoin button, so I could pay to the one IRS has your money address, but there wasn't one. And so apparently I have to convert my beautiful digital money into green cotton-based currency and pay that way. And that's going to cause some selling pressure. So that's my guess, paying taxes.
Blake Anderson.
Well, I think that there's a lot of different reasons. I think that, like I was saying, if there's going to be, a lot of sell pressure coming from miners because the hash rate has really, really taken off, that could be it. But I think that it would be fun to go really deep into the what if bag and say maybe some of these ASIC producers that were running their machines not on test nets like they were advertising, and they were doing burn-in for their ASIC machines and they were mining Bitcoin. Maybe one of them was like, oh, eyes are starting to snoop around. Let me offload all these Bitcoin as quickly as I possibly can, and the bear whale might be that. I don't know if that's what happened, but speculation is always fun, and it's always fun the deeper into the what if bag you go.
It happened to Butterfly Labs. It could happen to us. Marshall Hayner.
I think Tim Draper just got really nervous, and he was like, "This is a bad investment. Sell, sell, sell." No, just kidding. I think that you see all of the coins moving out of there. It's been over a year since the coins were in there. I think it probably was just somebody that got a little bit nervous, had a weak hand. He couldn't hodl. So I
He
think
got
that'll happen.
$6 million instead of $18 million. Not a very good trade. Megan Lords.
So I've been seeing a lot of claims that maybe this is an act of manipulation. And I think it's important to keep that in mind, that this is a small market that's still small enough to very easily manipulate. But I think a more reasonable thing is this person just needed to sell these coins and they got very nervous when they saw the price dropping. So I'm going to stick with that. I don't know. Of course, I can't speak to, know this person personally and, what their incentives were. But, I think maybe they were just scared and wanted to sell.
I do agree with the other speculation that to sell so many coins in one order, it clearly sounds like a computer science type person, unfamiliar with trading, just willing to dump them all. Even splitting them into $1,000 chunks or $10,000 chunks would have netted a lot more money. It just seems like an incredible move, but that's Bitcoin. Moving on, issue
Well,
2.
before we move on, hang on. I have a request to make. Can we get someone to work on a bear whale jingle, which combines the roar of a bear and the whale song? There's a beautiful visual. We've got the visual. We need the sound bite now. So then we should start working on that right away. We need the bear whale sound.
Bear whale rapping, I could see something going down. This is the World Crypto Network, live. We're going live to James Bang in Hong Kong. James, how's it going?
Hey Thomas, the atmosphere is very tense right now as many people have gathered in front of this reinforced barricade. So today the protesters have decided to reinforce the barricades after there was a stabbing. Someone tried to remove these barricades. One of the protesters was stabbed by a box cutter twice in the stomach. And also someone also threatened the protesters with a Molotov cocktail and threw a bomb of paint and some excrement out of the windows, along with other materials. So protesters have decided they will reinforce all barricades today, and they're sitting right in front of it, where there's a big police presence directly ahead. So the atmosphere is rather tensed up at all the Mongkok borders at the barricades, because every single barricade has just been reinforced. So that's the situation now. It's here. It's 2 a.m., so it's now Friday morning. They did a clearance this time last week at about 5 a.m. Friday morning, but it was a failure because later that evening, the protesters gathered after work, and more than 10,000 people gathered here in Mongkok and reoccupied Mongkok. So, but there is a large presence of protesters as well tonight because they are a bit nervous. There might be a police clearance later.
You said there was a stabbing? What happened?
Yes, yesterday a pro-democracy supporter was stabbed twice in the gut with a box cutter while he was defending the barricades, basically. He was preventing these people. It looked like a group of organized professionals who came, probably some paid antis. There was a group of 5 or 6 of them, all of Pakistani origin, and they were just tearing up barricades. And when a pro-democracy supporter tried to stop him, he got a box cutter out and just stabbed him twice.
What are you doing to prevent this in the future? Are you sticking to groups of 2 or more?
More like groups of 50 or more.
50 or more, that sounds appropriate. More people seems to be a good answer to a lot of these problems.
Not just people, cameras as well, you see. A lot of cameras are out. Everyone's recording everything. We also have some legislators that are out, so some lawmakers I guess the equivalent in the US would be congressmen or statesmen, and they're here as well on the front lines to protect the students.
What was your impression of the meeting that the government had with the student protesters?
It was a real disappointment. There were two main points that came out of that, which was very clear, that the current regime want to pass it on and delay it to 2022, so not on my term, basically. So they played this game several times with us since 2007, 2012, 2017, and they're trying to play that card again, and no one's buying the delay it out of our term. The second thing was they're not budging on anything. It seemed more like a lecture. It seemed like politicians lecturing the students on what they've done wrong and which laws they've broken, rather than focus on the key issues of universal suffrage and the right to nominate our chief executives nominees. So they didn't really tackle the real issues. So everyone's disappointed, very, very disappointed with the talks.
That's very unfortunate to hear. What are your plans for the future? What do you think the protest is what's going to happen?
Everyone's getting ready for the long haul now. We've always said from the beginning, since we broadcast, we said it was for the long haul, but I think no one really thought it would go to 30 days like this, because this all started September 28th. That's when everyone counts it from, the day of the tear gas incident. So now we're approaching 30 days very, very soon. So no one expected a key area of Nathan Road blocking HSBC Bank for a whole month would be possible in one of the main shopping districts. But it's been done. So, and Admiralty, the government buildings are all paralyzed there as well. So, you know, it's gone 30 days. Everyone is expecting this for the long haul, because when you look, we used to have no tents, right? We just slept on the floors. Now people have built up tents. Not only tents, you can find like dining rooms or living room areas. I mean, it really seems like a whole community. You know, they built up a study area now where there's Wi-Fi, 100 seats for students to do homework. So it's really, people are preparing. You can see the logistics as well, that everyone's really preparing for a long, long battle here. But that's got a lot of divided opinions. Some people are saying, look, you've done well, you've made your point, live to fight another day, you know, regroup. Others are saying, you know, we're going to fight to the very end. Some are saying, go home, it's pointless, Beijing's never going to listen to you anyways, no matter what you do. So the opinions are very, very divided across Hong Kong.
It does seem historically like this is the sticking point. You either rebel now or become a part of China. I don't see what else could be done, really. Either, I mean, it's very difficult to deal with the government, and I'm not sure how they're going to deal with this. Obviously, you've taken the steps to reinforce the barricades. You're bringing in tents. It still seems like a large force of police lined up over there. What do you think they're going to do? Are they gonna force this thing eventually? Like,
they might look to clear. They might attempt another clearance, but all that's done is bring more people out. So every time they clear, people just come out later that night. So they've done that twice now, and twice people have just come back. So what you see in front of us now are the reinforced barricades with these wooden pallets. So originally there were only the steel pallets. Did you hear that loud roar?
yes, we did.
Something's happening on that end right now, which is why there was a loud scream. But right in front of us, there were originally only these steel barricades, and now people have reinforced them with a lot of these wooden pallets. So it's a lot more concrete and solid now. We hear another cheer going on in the back, or a roar, not sure what sound that is. You know what, we're going to go down there now.
Concrete's not a bad idea. Glad to see you've got a new helmet, James, and I think the headphones also very much give you the appearance of a media.
Thanks. Actually, the helmet was donated by a journalist or a videographer from Vice called Jason. He read the story and contacted me on Twitter and said, here's one of my helmets.
That's very great. Thank you very much, Vice TV. They've done some great reports over there. They did a North Korean piece. It was really fantastic.
Oh shit, someone's on the floor here, acting like a fool. He's drunk. He looks like a fake, so he has a yellow umbrella, but he's probably a fake pro-democracy guy, you know? Just really, whoa, oh shit, we've got a duck here, fucking hell. He's got this umbrella and he's wielding it everywhere, doing kung fu. Fuck. Almost had the umbrella in my face right there. Alright, now he's climbing the pole. And he's putting on this show right in front of all these police officers who are just watching and amusingly. I guess he's tired. That's what the crowd is saying. He must be tired, taking a break. So this is what the earlier shouts were about. This is why we heard the crowd roar 3 times.
And so just about 3 steps the other way, the rest of Hong Kong continues, right? Business is going. That's a full street.
Absolutely. This is one of the largest shopping malls here in Kowloon. It's called Langham Place. It's open as usual, business as usual. However, I've talked to many local businesses here, and they've all said businesses have their sales turnover has been decreased by up to 50%. So even though the shops are open, people are not coming down here because it's people are scared to come down here, right? There are Molotov cocktail stabbings, and he's back again. Sorry. All the press are here now. Look at all the press, Thomas.
Good thing they're here for the show.
Someone tweeted, "Drunken Kung Fu style." But anyway, he's not much of he's not really a troublemaker. He's more entertainment. So the crowd are chatting about how, he has to have his photos taken or video filmed to get money, to get paid for this act, because he's obviously a paid troublemaker. And there he goes. He's done. He's done.
You think he earned about $25 for that routine?
He probably earned at least $100.
It seems the police could have arrested a drunk and disorderly man threatening people with an umbrella. That seems like a pretty common police action.
Absolutely, and if that was a pro-democracy person, they would have. Because he's an anti, they kind of let them be. They've arrested pro-democracy people for far less than that.
I can imagine. You shouldn't put on any plays. That would be bad news right now.
Yeah. So now that the drunk guy is gone, the crowd is starting to disperse. And this is happening right next to the reinforced side barricades where we started from.
I remember using early versions of the quick video cam broadcasting software years ago, and it's amazing how far we've come. We're broadcasting live from Hong Kong. It's 11:16 a.m. on the West Coast. What time is it in Hong Kong there, James?
It is 2:15 a.m. here.
15 a.m. in Hong Kong. The price of Bitcoin is $362, down from a recent high of around 380. Had some rough times there on the Bitcoin. We've got a live chat. They're not saying much so far. They agree that there was a provocateur's paradise, that you could earn a lot of money right now in Hong Kong disrupting pro-democracy protests.
It's a great business to be in.
Sorry, what was that, James?
It's a great business to be in. We've seen the same person yesterday come disrupt. I tweeted it. I took a photo of him at 1 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Someone else said they saw him again at 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. So the same guy came 6 times. And if he's, what, making $25 a pop, you know, it's a couple $100 for a night's work.
Remember, the 7 o'clock show is completely different from the 10 o'clock show.
Right. So this is the main stream with all the fancy stuff up there. And so this is like where all the satellites are streaming from.
Very nice.
And we've just got a little cell phone on us.
How can you do that? Madness.
Yes, and this is where police have now occupied Mongkok. You see, this whole area is police vehicles stretching 2 blocks down. So technically, police are occupying more of Mongkok than the citizens are. So I wonder when the complaint will be filed against police for occupying this much of a spot in a big financial district.
I think you should file it immediately. Get right on it. Get the paperwork going. Think about the small businesses. All these police vehicles parked in front of their Subway shop. No one's going to shop there.
Absolutely. They're everywhere here, and they've got a whole 2 blocks. It's absolutely ridiculous how much space they've taken up for their vehicles and how much it's disrupting local businesses. I think police should actually compensate some of these shop owners.
Now, it's interesting the toll this must be taking on the local force. Are they bringing in outside police? Are they making them work endless overtime? What's going on?
All right, so I've interviewed one superintendent, and he told me they normally work 5 days a week, 9 to 10 hour shifts. And now they're working 6 days a week, 14 to 16 hour shifts. And apparently they do not get overtime payment. Instead, they can just take the time off. They can take the time off, whatever extra they put in as a holiday later down the line.
That is not a good deal. They don't get overtime?
So all these chants of you guys are getting paid for the repeated crime, you're getting paid 3 times. Technically, yes, they're getting the time back, but they're not getting the cash.
That really shows the amount of ownership that the office has over their time. Even just the promise of, we'll give you some of your time back, is enough for them to stick on the side.
Absolutely, and it's enough for them to do whatever they say, even however immoral it is, because we've seen them do some really disturbing things, and it's always been the groups in plain clothes without any identification cards. And we caught a group of them yesterday, a big group of them, hanging in the side street, and I guess they didn't really know I understood them, so he was over the phone calling for backup. I mean, like, not just bring backup, but he kind of said it he said, "Choi Kai," that was his exact words, and that's kind of the terminology gangsters use when they call their fellow gang members to come into a fight. So it's very interesting he used that terminology, right? It wasn't just, please, we need reinforcements. He did it in a real thuggish way using that terminology. And I overheard that. I was really nervous then. And I saw that they all had no ID. So then I immediately tried to warn the protesters. And then they then told all the mainstream media, who then jumped to that area. And the reinforcements did arrive. More plainclothes and more uniformed officers did arrive. But I just started saying, hey, you all have no IDs. And all the press were there filming it, and then they kind of dispersed. I mean, Chris and I were trying to chase them down, see where they dispersed to, but they disappeared. So whatever Operation Shady thing they were about to do kind of blew up thanks to the media. focusing on their no badges, and I have very, very clear photographic evidence. So later that evening, I hunted down the guy in charge here. He is the chief superintendent, Duncan McCosh, who you see on drag on my Twitter post. That was from the police government website. I confronted him, like, actually before I did, another journalist did, and he didn't have the photos I did, but he still asked him about the no ID issue, and his response simply was, must have been an accident. So when his interview was done, I approached him with these photos, graphic photos from every angle. I mean, where he couldn't dispute the fact that there were no IDs, right? Because it wasn't just one guy, it was multiple guys, and I took it from their front, close-up sides. So he couldn't deny it at that point, that it was an accident. It was obvious that they didn't have it. So he switched his defense. I have the live recording, which I'll probably post on the channel. His response was, word to word, the police insignia is showing, and if you ask them for their badge ID numbers, they will tell you. Yeah. So what he's saying is, if you ask them for their ID numbers, they'll tell you, and as long as it says police, that's good enough. And that answer just absolutely was shocking. And another journalist who's freelancing for the Washington Post followed up with the question, then who do you complain to if they don't answer? They said, oh, you complain to the police.
And what about imposters? If you go to a costume shop and buy a shirt that says police, now you don't even need a badge. You can just walk around.
There you go.
And we know firsthand, how they treat people without press passes. What about, you got people running around without police badges, without identification? Crazy.
So can we just throw them onto the ground since they don't have their lanyards?
Apparently so. If you don't have your badge, you need your little badge.
Right. And what happened with McCosh? Oh God, I forgot what I was going to say. Hi. You have so many things to say. Yeah, there's. Have you been here all day today?
Just come here for every night.
Every night.
And I finding that every day the situation is more serious than the days before.
And you come overnight to sleep, then you go to work back later?
In the daylight,
wow.
I go to work.
Right.
And at the night, I sleep here.
Oh. Wow. Do you think this will be 1 month? How long do you think everyone will be here?
Because people are going to travel over here, and people will get angry. So
Maximum, you think so?
I expect it. Because some people is very neutral, but if they occupy this place, more people will get angry.
What about Admiralty? Do you think that can stay longer than 2 weeks?
Same time.
Same thing. So you don't think the students will get what they want?
Because students also have to take the examinations. They cannot continuously to occupy this place.
So you don't believe Hong Kong will get true democracy and universal suffrage?
Very difficult this time, but we have to strive for democracy.
So you're doing the best you can?
Best, yes.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, bye. So we just bumped into a protester here, a pro-democracy protester. He's not a student, but he sleeps here overnight just to support with the numbers, and then he goes to work in the day. And he says he's been doing that every day. And even though he has little hopes that the students will win it or achieve democracy, true democracy, yet he still comes by every night to do what he can.
James, you mentioned that there are new people coming into the streets. Do you think the new people are mainly students, or what kind of people are they?
Well, since there's been 2 incidents that's brought a lot of different people. One was the beating of Ken Sang. He's a social worker, so that brought in a lot of social workers. A lot of females more than males, actually, when I was down at the police station where they were occupying. So it was a very different crowd. So that group came in after the police brutality when they beat a handcuffed citizen. 7 police officers did, taking turns. And the second incident was C.Y. Leung, the chief executive, just yesterday. I mean, almost, his remarks are so stupid, you wouldn't believe it's true. He basically said, we shouldn't allow the poor to vote. That would be a bad thing because then Hong Kong would become a welfare state. Now that's pissed off the poor, which is like 50% of the people who make under 1,500 US dollars, and now the people who make under 15,000 or 15,000 Hong Kong dollars have now come out. You know, people who are in that class, they feel very offended by what the chief executive had to say, that they didn't matter. So I think these two incidents have brought some new people to the movement.
That's good to hear. We're joined by Theo Goodman from Brussels. Theo, how's it going?
Great, but I'm not in Brussels, I'm in Frankfurt, but in American terms, that's pretty close.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I knew.
Yeah, I'm going to turn my camera on in a second. So, yeah, I basically understand that what I heard is that one of the Hong Kong guys or one of the Chinese authorities basically said, yeah, we don't want everyone to vote because then maybe too many poor people will vote, and then they might actually get representation or something like that.
You got it. That's exactly what he said. I mean,
That's really amazing. It's comical. It's almost unbelievable. I mean, they said it on the radio, and I was like, "What did he say?" He just said, "Yeah, that's not a good idea. Because then poor people might actually be represented."
You got it, Theo. That's exactly what our chief executives say, and you wonder why people are calling for his resignation. I imagine if Obama said that in America, or
Well,
what would they?
yeah, that would be funny.
Obama once said that he tortured some folks.
So there are actually a lot more people who are sleeping on the streets today. Yesterday, all these people were not sleeping on the streets. They were actually sleeping on the side here under some shelter because they were very afraid of people dropping items onto their heads. So they were actually sleeping all on the sidewalks. But today you can see people have come out in the streets, but there are almost umbrellas out to protect their heads.
So, are any of these police that won't give their numbers, are they brought in from mainland China, or are they from Hong Kong, or you don't know? I guess he just froze. They're hacking us, I guess.
Hey, Theo, I didn't catch that part.
Oh, I just was asking if there's been any cases where people think that the police that won't give their numbers are perhaps from mainland China.
No, they were definitely Hong Kong. A lot of them are the anti-CAD police. So they deal with thugs and gangsters normally, and now they're dealing with students. You wonder why they use so much aggression in beating these student protesters, because they're used to beating thugs and gangsters, and they've sent these kinds of special forces. They've also sent the anti-terrorist task force to deal with the students. It's crazy who they're using in the law enforcement. They're not just using regular patrolmen or on-the-ground uniformed officers. They're using these teams, anti-terror teams, anti-crime gang teams, on these occupiers, which seems ridiculous.
Well, that's a military force. It happens in other countries too, in Europe, in America as well. I mean, you have, special parts of the police, and they're basically a trained military force. The main difference is they don't live in barracks, so that's a little bit different. They do live with the civilian population, but besides that, they're an occupying military force, and then you got these special ones like you're talking about that are highly specialized, highly trained, and these anti-terror units are meant for storming buildings with machine guns and all that, and they're not really trained in how do we deal with peaceful students that are laying on the ground.
We seem to have lost James's video feed. So, Theo, what's going on?
Every time I talk, they stop it. I'm not doing it on purpose. I don't know if it's an overload or what. Now it's totally gone. See? I didn't do any. I just brought up the wrong topic, or I don't know what's going on here.
We've got a couple of comments from the chat. Chris Ellis says, "Hey guys, sorry I can't be on the air with." "Hey guys, sorry I can't be on the air with you today. I have family matters. Best of luck and great job." That was a disaster of an accent.
That was pretty good. That wasn't that bad.
Oh, I felt
I
hard.
like that. At the end, it kind of sounded like Scottish or something. Like
There's a
great
bit of a
job.
Ringo. I could get a Ringo going, but I need to practice more before I just throw it straight
Well,
in.
I only know it from listening to the band Crass. I don't know if you know that band. So, hello, what are you bloody doing here? Here we go. Let's go now. So it's only like screaming. I can't do like this real, upper class kind of accent. Like this really rough thing I can kind of do, but
You'll never get along in the dinner parties. We've got a comment from HR. He says, "No paid overtime is okay. No tax paid on your day that is paid back." So he says the police still do have a good deal. They get the day off in the future. They don't have to pay tax. And Dan Gould agrees, saying that Obama has said worse. Obama has said a lot of bad things. Not as many as Bush. We're back with James. James, you're back from Hong Kong. Can you hear us?
I'm good. I can hear you guys. So now we've made our way down to Shantung Street. This is the area you'll see.
We're bringing James back online, and then it stopped working. He could hear us, and now we're not so sure.
So what you can do is you can donate to James's Bitcoin address, and then we can buy our own satellite, and then we've really got a good connection. We don't have to deal with all this, 4G stuff, and we can bypass the government authorities if we had a World Crypto Network satellite in order to do these live streams. That would be a lot easier. What do you think?
I'm going to go ahead and bring it up on the screen. This is James's new Bitcoin address. If you enjoyed live reports like this from Hong Kong, help James Bang pay for his 4G network service. Theo, do you have any Bitcoins on your phone? Do you have your phone near the computer? Time for the Bitcoin quiz.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do have some. Hold on, I've got my phone right here, and I do have.
So I want to make it a fair deal. I have my phone as well. Is it locked?
Okay. Is it? Or I just unlocked it.
Okay. I'm going to unlock mine. Got a code. That's going to affect the time on this, but here it is. Are you ready? Let's send $1 and whatever you have, a Deutschmark maybe, or some kind of amount. Let's all send $1 to James Bang in Hong Kong. Are you ready? This is normally impossible. I'm going to have to get out my envelopes, my stamps, my letters, write a nice note. Are you ready? Here we go. On your mark. Get set. Go. Okay. All right. I'm moving into the blockchain app. Blockchain is loading. Blockchain's got a pin on it. That's going to slow me down.
Okay, well, I have to wait for my Piva app because I've got some left over on my Piva app, and
Piva's waiting for the Piva app. I'm into blockchain.
Yeah.
Scanning the QR code. Blockchain
gosh.
moving ahead.
You're going to win, I think. It's not the app's fault. It's because
Oh, it scanned that QR code really fast. Adjusting into USD. I'm going to send $1, which is 0.002 right now. Moving ahead. Confirming payment. Would you like to confirm? Yes. Oh, password. It's important to have a password.
Watch out, I'm scanning.
I'm typing my password.
Shut up so I can see.
Type fast.
I have to shut up so I can see the picture.
I think that we're pushing transactions. This could be all over. Blockchain.info for the win. Transactions on the blockchain going back.
Yeah, but when you did that, I couldn't scan, so that was unfair.
Oh, you're so slow.
The picture went away. Show me the picture again so I can do it.
All right. But there's 3 new transactions. There's multiple people are donating to James right now. They must have Bitcoin on their phones too. I wonder what app they're using. Maybe they'll tell us in the chat. Blockchain is doing its usual thing of crashing on pushing transaction. So it sends the money, but it just doesn't finish properly. So eventually you have to exit and then re-enter, then it crashes, then you restart it, that kind of thing. Oh, there we go.
Sorry,
Another
guys.
transaction. And it looks
We
like
lost,
we're going to try to bring James back into the broadcast.
sorry, we lost.
We're doing a little donation demonstration here. Everybody's just donated $1 to your Bitcoin address, or maybe more if they have it. Putting it live
Thank
on
you.
the screen right here. What's going on there on the ground in Hong Kong?
So we were showing that now on the side, the police are actually inside the barricades. The reason is because the things that were thrown out of the building were from this building, so it's inside the vicinity.
What kind of things were thrown on the street? Are you still with us? We seem to have lost James again, but look how big I made this QR code. Did you know with the blockchain.info you can adjust the size of the QR code by editing this line of code there? That's neat, huh? So,
I'm really behind. I'm really slow. I had to try to open the browser. My monitor is so bright; it's really hard to scan.
A litany of excuses from Theo. A challenger lays defeated. Donations are rolling in to James.
Yeah, but how many confirmations do you have?
Oh, I don't know, because it crashes when it gets to that. Blockchain.info is an app that starts well but finishes badly.
I had the old one. The old one worked fine for me. I don't know what. I haven't tried the new one.
The new one, it's not even doesn't even seem like a real app. It like virtually updates every time you load it.
Okay.
And but it just seems to work, but it just doesn't finish. So let's see. Oh wow, we got some good donations for James. We got $27. Oh, I'll go back to this other screen. I'll show you it. Here it is. Look at this right here. We got a donation of $27.94. Let's just go to Bitcoin.
Wow, that's good.
0.007. We got a donation of 0.002, 0.003, and another 0.002. So, all in all, a pretty easy $31 right there. All sent right around the same time. Although this one's in military time. This one's in military time. This one's.
It's not military time. It's called a 24-hour clock, and a lot of the world uses it.
Really?
Yes, believe it or not. It makes it a lot easier, actually.
I'll try.
We've been using it with. We've been doing it with UTC also, right? Haven't we been doing 24-hour clock in UTC?
Whatever it is, you've been confusing me, and then I look it up on the internet and change it to West Coast time. Say, what is that?
UTC, I don't. It's hard too. Yeah, but I mean, the 24-hour clock. You get that though, right?
Yeah, I get it. Let's see. I'm bringing up the time clock just for Theo. It says, what time is it? It's 11 o'clock on the West Coast. It's 2:39 p.m. in New York. It's 3:39 p.m. in Buenos Aires. It's not actually that useful. I'd rather have Hong Kong. Let's see. This is worldtimebuddy.com.
Yeah, but if it's 3 o'clock somewhere or 11 o'clock, you can just say, okay, it's 11 o'clock and that's 11 a.m. and 2300 is 11 p.m.
It's 2:40 a.m. in Hong Kong. It's actually 12
Now
hours.
we're having a lesson on how to tell time. This is great.
People want this. They're writing in.
Okay.
Let me get the chat up, and the chat will say, what we want is more time lessons with Tom. Nope, the chat is not in this window. It used to be in this window. So yeah, we've got James Bang live from Hong Kong. We seem to have lost our connection to Hong Kong. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Dan's donation has already been confirmed. Excellent. Put this down here for right now.
Oh, there's a chat. That's great.
Let's see. The future.
You're making fun of my efficiency that I had trouble with the phone, you know?
German
I'm
efficient.
not German. I just live in Germany. So I also feel like an alien sometime with the whole efficient thing, you know? I mean, I think that whenever I visit back to the US, it seems like I'm really efficient, but here it doesn't seem like I'm efficient.
Hey, John doesn't like my impression of Chris. He thinks Chris did a better impression of me. I've got
Yeah,
to work on
but
it.
Chris had props. Chris had props, and I think he was practicing. So it's a little bit easy. It's a little different. You know, it's kind of unfair. I mean, if you worked on it for like a week, then you might be able to do it. You need to have like a really white wall background, you know, and get the right shirt on, and then you have to, you know, get a really philosophical introduction, not, you know.
Back, Kung Fu guy's back, and he's pissed off. He's pissed off in his back. He's just chucked his umbrella to the floor. And he's gotten into an argument with the guy in the pink shirt right ahead. So these two are having an argument now.
So is this an agent, someone that's come in to provoke everybody, or what's going on?
And he's headed towards him. He's accepted the challenge. He's accepted the challenge of a fight, or whatever this is. And there they are. I don't know what is going on here.
All right, Theo, who do you got? Kung Fu guy or pink shirt guy?
Pink
I'm
shirt's a
not
lot
sure.
bigger.
Yeah, but bigger doesn't mean a lot. It depends on street fighting has a lot of other things. I don't know. They look like they both are tending towards a traditional stance with right foot forward.
They're being broken up now. Police are breaking them up now.
Left foot forward, orthodox. They're getting broken up so they can't see the fight.
Just when things are about to get all Hong Kong.
He said there's nothing to see. The anti-guy says there's nothing to see. There's nothing to see.
Are you sure you translated that right? I think he said fight at 11.
Oh, shit! There we go, there we go! There we go. He's being taken away now. And we knew this would happen. It was a matter of time, wasn't it?
Please note it wasn't the initial guy, but the second guy who's taken away.
He did his job. He did his job. He provoked him enough. And they said I can't go through. They said I can't go through. They've kept him in here now. They've kept him in here.
Yeah, so then they can beat him up back there when no one sees him.
No, if they try and beat him, there's 3 cameras here.
We can see him. We can see him. It's okay.
Yeah, everyone can see him. So if they try and kick him or beat him, everyone can see.
Hey, what's up? Are you working overtime?
Are you working overtime, sir? No response. No response. So let's see if they release him, because they seem to release the other people all the time. If they don't release him, then they're clearly selectively enforcing.
So do you think one of them was sent in to provoke people, and if so, which one? Because it was kind of chaotic.
It was definitely the Kung Fu guy provoking. He insulted the guy in the pink shirt repeatedly, which is why the pink guy got all pissed off. You know, you can't feed the trolls, right? He got fed, and he irritated him enough for him to do something.
Yeah.
We've got comments from the chat. Dan sent his donation 30 minutes ago. They liked it when Theo was upside down. Bitty Bit says, size matters not, Yoda. And Dan says, go ahead. Dan also says, cops are the most unsociable kind of people that there are.
So they're telling people to not stay on the sidewalk here and to give space for people to walk.
Anders has a question. He says, let's pray for peace. And he asks, what kind of religion do they have in Hong Kong?
Buddhism is the main religion here in Hong Kong.
Do you believe that most of the police force there are practicing Buddhists?
I'm not too sure what they practice here.
It's very tough to be part of a violent group when you're practicing a non-violent religion.
Yes.
Cognitive distance.
Hold on. A police officer wants to talk with us. Hello, sir, you're live. Do you have a comment? No comment? Why did you come to me? Why did you come? You came to me. Why did you come to me, sir? Can you tell me why you came to me? You came to me. I didn't come to you. So why did you come to me? I have a question now. Everyone's watching. You came to me. Why did you come to me, sir? That's one question for you, since you don't have a question for me. No? No? Nothing? All right, enjoy that. You were just live on World Crypto Network. 49444.
No, you don't stress him too much. Oh, we got his number right there. 19444.
He came over me. He came over my shoulder from behind. He's blah 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 lying now with his mouth there.
Maybe he wants to be on YouTube. Ask him if he wants to be on YouTube.
He wants to be a star on YouTube here. I don't know. He just comes up behind me like a creep. This guy right here. He comes up behind my shoulder like a creep, asking me what I'm doing. I said, I'm reporting live. I said, what are you doing? And he won't answer me now.
Maybe he's just bored and he wants to watch some movies or check his email or something. It could just be that simple. You know, it doesn't have to be malicious. He might be bored.
I don't know why he's creeping up behind me there, and, you know, they get scared when people...
Just don't let him provoke you. He might be just trying to provoke you like the Kung Fu guy, you know?
Some guys, they get scared when they speak English, and, you know, they're seeing two American and English people on screen, you know. You know, when they see two foreigners live, they're wondering what's happening, right? They want to know what show this is, or where they're being brought up. They're gone. That was quick.
Maybe you need to get, instead of headphones, maybe you need to get some, like, speakers, and we can really, like, talk to them, you know?
Right. All right, something's happening. He's being let out. He's being led into a taxi. So you can punch someone and around their neck, and you do not get arrested in Hong Kong. You can strangle and punch someone in Hong Kong, and you will just be led into a taxi by police. Unbelievable. We saw live that he strangled him, assaulted someone, and not 15 minutes later be led into a taxi. This is not fake TV. This is live in Hong Kong. This is not a show. This is not staged. And this is not the first time anyway, says another protester. So you can assault and punch, and you'll be sent merrily along into a cab.
Well, actually, if they didn't send him away, then they probably would have lifted him or something.
Yeah, exactly. That was a better option, right? So
we're not like that. We're peaceful.
Yeah, we're peaceful, right? But they're not.
No, the police have a hard job. If you work for a boss like the government in Hong Kong,
absolutely, that'll be very stressful, right?
Well, look at them, man. Like, at least we can sit down. They have to stand up all night.
Yep.
Tough for them.
And this is actually one of my favorite people here in the protest. I call him. His name's Cliff, Dr. Cliff, and he's actually a doctor. and he helps the injured here. And I think he's really amazing because not only is he a doctor, he treats MMA people for what kind of injuries? Mixed martial arts?
Yeah, everything.
So back pains and other kinds of injuries.
I'm sorry?
What exactly do you practice normally?
It's rehab.
Rehab. So I guess there's a lot of head injuries here as well with the police use of batons on the students. So we're very lucky to have Dr. Cliff here helping our students. And I've seen him here every night for the last few days, ever since the police started attacking students. And he's here every night just helping students after work. So it's like he's doing double shifts on top of his normal duties. So really have to thank people like Dr. Cliff out here who supports us tremendously. Thanks. All right.
Yeah. MMA, it's important.
MMA is important, they say. So not only is he a doctor, he can actually protect us or protect the actual station in case something happens, right?
Yeah, but you see people that really know stuff, how to do something, like that guy, you see they're really calm and they're not aggressive and stuff. That's why I always tell people that are really skeptical of martial arts. You know, those people are usually pretty calm people that know how to really fight.
Absolutely, you'd never pin him for a very professional fighter, but a lot of the people he heals are all pro fighters and they train him, so he's like an expert fighter who could kick your ass, and he's a doctor, and you'd never think that. So be careful who you mess with or pick a fight with. Don't look by appearance.
We've got a couple more donations on the World Crypto Network donation feed. 0.002755 and 0.002. Keep those donations coming in to help pay for James Bang's live feed from Hong Kong. Go ahead, pause it. Use the QR code on your screen right now. All right, back to James.
Thank you very much, guys, for the generous donations. That's really going to help for my cell phone data bill, which I don't even want to know. I don't even want to guess what it's going to be this month.
Well, remember, you can always try to negotiate. You can be like, I didn't know about these limits. My kids were using it. Is there any way you could reduce the bill? And sometimes you can get a good donation that way, a good reduction.
Right. So do you also notice them as well with no IDs? And they say, here we go again. They're saying he's doing it again with the no ID thing. They said, Laolea, which means here he goes again. So they actually don't have any identification on them. And you wouldn't know. I asked Superintendent McCosh last night, who is their boss, why his commanding officer. I asked him, Mr. McCosh, why do they not have their IDs? And he said it was actually acceptable for them not to have identification on. And that came directly from their boss, Superintendent McCosh. And they get quite frustrated. So those were the same people without the identity cards that we saw yesterday, and they recognized me because I blew one of their operations.
We've got a couple more comments from the chat room. Dan Gould says, don't mess with Sasquatch. Bit by Bit says, let's pay for peace, capitalism, and donations for a free Hong Kong. H-Harn says, James, he can speak to a Buddhist monk if he wants. Dan Gould jokes, did he stay at a Holiday Inn too? And Bit by Bit says, Dr. Badass, we've got a prescription of pain.
Awesome.
You can tell that chat room's working when you get that kind of quality humor. The other day I could tell that the troll box is working. Someone called someone a twatopotamus. I was like, oh, that's good. We're working now.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, so interestingly enough, that group of plainclothes recognized me because I foiled their operation last night where they didn't have the IDs on. And they're like, oh, here he goes again with the no ID.
So what's going to happen? What are people talking about right now?
Everyone's just nervous about a clearance today, but people think if they don't clear later this morning, we should be safe till Monday. And we actually have a very interesting democratic process set up at the Admiralty site, where the next talks between students and government, the issues that should be raised are going to be voted upon by the members of the public. And that's going to happen this Sunday at the Admiralty area. So we're introducing our own form of democracy here by allowing everyone who comes down this weekend to vote specifically on what issues they want to go forward when the next round of talks happens with the government and the students.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, so everything looks calm though for now. You know, there were just minor scuffles tonight. By the way, who won that bet? Does the pink guy get the win over the kung fu guy?
I don't know. I didn't bet on anybody. I don't know what. The bet was who's going to be able to send the donation the fastest. I think Thomas won, but I don't know if it was fair. But he won. But it's okay. But you should have a good amount of donations now.
Oh, thank you so much, guys. It's going to help a lot. Everything's very calm and relaxed again. There's been no major incidents today. All the major incidents happened the night before, so now it's past Thursday night, so all the big things happened on Wednesday evening. So Thursday was very calm, as now it's approaching Friday morning. We anticipate the weekend should be quite normal until Sunday, but we never know. So if there's anything that happens here in the next few hours or in the next days, we'll stream live again. Until then, I think we might make a trip to the Lion Rock Tunnel. Did you see the tweet there of the mountain where they put up a giant democracy?
No, I missed that. I haven't seen it.
So some students or democracy people have put a giant pro-democracy banner across a mountain, and that's something we might go visit later. See. Interestingly enough, this guy's actually jumped onto the thing like he's going to give a notice. Might be nothing, but he has jumped up on top there, if you can see. Looks like they're just surveilling, because you get a better view from the high ground. So
Yeah.
it's just the, actually, it's not for a message, it's actually a video camera. So he's looking at his watch, he's looking at the camera, so he might be syncing the time or something, and now he's just going to use that to monitor the crowd. So we're monitoring the watchers who's watching the crowd. And they probably want to know who these bunch are, right? They want to know who's in front of the barricade. They want to identify them later and possibly charge them for a crime down the road.
Yeah, well, you know, you could also do that if depending on what mobile phones they're using and so on, with, you know, recording all the records and everything else. But yeah, sure, they want to record, and you might be right, they might be doing it for that reason, but I think that it's just another tactic to make people afraid and make them at least feel like they're being watched. That's the main thing. The main thing is that people feel like they're being watched.
So they're singing happy birthday now to a troublemaker, and they're just clapping them after singing happy birthday. He is not amused. He is not amused. They're saying happy birthday. They're saying happy birthday. seems drunk, actually. He's tipsy. He's definitely tipsy. He must have drunk some alcohol.
So, do you think that the cops just brought this guy into the crowd to just provoke people?
I'm sure they're unrelated. I'm sure another group just sent them in just to disrupt and disturb everyone. So they're just saying ignore him, then, you know, he'll have no one to perform in front of. So they're just leading him away to the next street where they'll just let him go. Alright, so let's just... Oh. Here. He's still here. Fucking hell. Fucking, he tried to grab my camera there. I had to duck away.
Yeah, stay away from that guy, man.
Yeah, fucking, I wasn't expecting that. Alright, he's gone.
So, did you get one of these wristbands around that you can put around the phone yet?
I have a protester next to me who's told me he's seen him here yesterday, drunk, acting a fool, just like this. So he's a repeat offender. He's not someone new, and he's been here for several days drunk, and they recognize them now. Right, so we're in a more quiet area now, so things are very, very calm in the center. It's only on the sides where there are some disruptions.
How are you doing on food and water, James? Are you getting enough to eat and drink?
Yeah, absolutely. We're doing good with the food and water. And some other people have actually started to donate to the Bitcoin for Dim Sum campaign that was started via Bitcoin and Reddit. And ever since it was kind of featured on local television, what we were doing. And some people have contacted me via Twitter. And they said they're people here in Hong Kong and wanted to contribute and buy some meals and deliver them together even. So we've done that already, and we're going to do that again tomorrow.
That sounds great. About how many meals have you donated so far?
Probably upwards of 80 meals by now.
That's fantastic. Do they have the same infrastructure they had before with the supply stations?
They get rebuilt very, very quickly. It's amazing. They tear the supply stations down. Police actually, shockingly, well, not shockingly, we shouldn't be surprised here. So once they actually, throw away and kind of tear down all the tents and all the material stations, the police actually keep the bottle of waters for themselves, and they actually drink the protesters' water.
That's hilariously hypocritical.
Yeah. So we see them tearing up all the tents and all the structures, but keeping the resources for themselves rather than giving the resources back. So technically that's public property, right? Because those were public donations. So, just saying.
You're just sharing with your public servants, the police.
So things are all calm now. So we've kind of done the whole tour. It does seem like people are starting to head to bed and go to sleep. So it might be a good time to finish our quick update here.
Yeah, you got to go to sleep sometime too, right?
Out for the night, actually. I've been sleeping in the afternoon so that I can stay overnight. Because the reason is, a lot of the troubles are happening overnight, right? You have the midnight operations or the day
Yeah.
operation before dark at 5 a.m. And there's not very many media people present at the late nights. There's a few of us around still, but they're mostly here in the day. So I've decided to actually switch my time around and to be here at the night in case something's happened, like last Friday. So I'm
Yeah,
actually
that's
out
a
here
good
in the night,
idea.
home in the day, where I know there are plenty of office workers or people coming after work, and I know there's plenty of support during those hours versus these times now.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Is there a kind of night watch from the protesters that is kind of organized to
Very,
kind of
very,
watch things?
and they're very organized now. It used to just be, a bunch of people in different tents, unrelated. Now they have people on bicycles, on skateboards, with walkie-talkies, patrolling the site regularly, giving updates. So it's very organized now.
Oh, that sounds great.
Sounds like things are relatively stable there. So I think we're going to end this live stream pretty soon. James, do you have any final thoughts from Hong Kong?
Damn. Where'd he go? I guess everyone's gone.
Well, we're about to close it
I
up.
wonder if the
anyway.
Kung Fu guy... Yeah.
Let's go with a couple of comments from the chat room. Let me see if I can get it back up on screen here. A lot going on. Let's see. Here's the chat room. The chat room says, they wanted to know what's going on at the other site. Tone P says, we did hear that they're continuing to protest at Admiralty, but it's this Mong Kong site in the financial district that really seems to be the hot point of the protests. HR says, catch and release, not only for fishermen. Anders says that the Hong Kong police seem respectful. He's right. All of the protesters and the police, everyone in Hong Kong seems very respectful. So it's interesting to have them have this kind of confrontation. Dan is not surprised that the cops were stealing. HR says most police are respectful when they know they're being filmed. It is very important to have that camera. Live is
so
best,
true.
but even pre-recorded cameras can make all the difference when you're interacting with police or really interacting with anyone. We might have a future society forming right here where people just start wearing body cameras all the time. Of course, the famous story in Russia, so many Russian cars have car cameras because of the hit-and-run accidents that they had tons of footage of that meteorite when it came down. That could be the entire world. That story right there. Tons of footage of everything, all the time.
So I think someone sent this drunk Kung Fu guy into the crowd because either the cops did it or some interest group. Because that happens a lot. They just get someone that's a little bit drunk, or they just get them drunk and they send them into the crowd, or maybe they're acting drunk or they're not really drunk. It's a pretty common thing because that can really disrupt the situation sometimes. They kind of see if the people can be provoked or not, but they handled it pretty well, I guess. But that's a real common thing. So hopefully
He
they're...
had a yellow umbrella, the symbol of the movement, so it did seem like he was making fun of the protesters.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, or maybe he just was at a bar with a bunch of, other people that are against the protesters. He was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go check this out and disrupt them a little bit on my own merit,
It could be the police bringing them in from the bars. We have a couple more comments from the chat room. Hello to Hong Kong from Bosnia. And Lee Beasy says, sup, folks.
I'm not trying to be an Australian. It's just that it was a request that people said that they like it when I'm upside down. So I thought I would change my camera to the old school upside down style camera. It's not that and I think that if you're in Australia, your camera still looks right side up, as far as I know. But we could test it out.
It's a throwback. It's a reference.
Throwback. It's a throwback, yeah. Now I've got the nice camera, but my internet connection is not always the best. I think I've got to change that up a little bit. But anyway, you can see it's kind of it kind of adjusts to the light a lot different too. It looks really weird.
It's the yellow Theo from Mars. All right, I think we're going to end this for today. You've been watching the World Crypto Network. I'm Thomas Hunt. I was joined by Theo Goodman and James Bang live from Hong Kong. If you see that QR code on the screen, it's for donations for James's 4G internet connection from Hong Kong, which has been bringing us all of this live coverage. At the end of the month, he's going to get the bill. And if you want him to be not shocked, go ahead and donate right now, even $1 to this address. Got some Bitcoin on your phone? Send some. Use some. Other people have been doing it. Look at all these people. All send it in. This one, one of them's $30. Some of them are $1. Whatever you got, just a little contribution to help out James. We've got a request for Theo to put a hat on. He can't have a hat on. He's upside down. Come on. Dan sends a high five and tells Theo to grow a beard so that he can be upside down with a beard and a hat.
Well, it doesn't take that long for me to grow a beard, but I probably won't do it.
Applause
because
for
it's
Dan.
totally. I've had a beard in my life, but now it's all kind of like a hipster thing. I mean, I like your beard, Thomas. I don't think it's a hipster beard, but it just kind of annoys me that all these like hipster beards. So I decided I'm totally not going to do that. I'm going to shave all the time, just because it's in style to have this like hipster beard stuff,
H.R. says that drunk guys work cheap. Will work for whiskey.
Yes, exactly. They do that. I've seen it so many times, and I've seen it in multiple European countries that for some reason, there's a protest, and suddenly there's like two drunk people, trying to join the protest march, disturbing everything. It just happens to happens to be there. I mean, it could be coincidence, but sometimes I think that they really do send people in. But that's a conspiracy theory. Yeah, a beard would look pretty cool when I'm upside down. I've got I don't have a hat handy, so I can't really do it. But I can get one next time I'm upside down, I guess, if that's really a thing. But I guess we need to wrap it up. So what other shows are going on today and tomorrow? You want to plug that, Thomas?
Today at 3 o'clock, we've got the Town Hall, the World Crypto Network Town Hall, where you get to be a part of the action, if we remember. I'm going to put an alarm on my clock to try to remember it. But
well, I'm glad you reminded me, because I had totally forgotten. But I think you mentioned it the other day, too, yesterday, yeah.
We're also, hopefully, we'll be able to do World Crypto Network Book Club tonight. It's been on hold a little while Nick's been working late at work. We'll see how that goes. I'm setting my alarm for 2:40 p.m. So that's when I'll be back. Not sure if we should let the live stream go or cut it down so that the Hong Kong footage will be more accessible. We're probably going to cut it down this time, but we had a little bit of the live stream before the show, and I'm sure we'll be doing some later. Maybe this weekend, maybe some more Mad Bitcoins TV. But check it out, and of course we've got the Bitcoin group tomorrow at 3 o'clock in the afternoon Pacific time. And there's always something going on the World Crypto Network. We're out of time. Bye-bye.